Hey folks, welcome to Bullets and Brass. This is the Corona edition, and I apologize. I haven't been making videos. I have been busy with work. I've been busy with just life. Most of us are either bored to tears or busy. And in my case, I've got a house guest for the duration, and I have been doing a lot of fishing, and I've been going to work. I work for a company that provides oxygen to all the hospitals and medical providers. And my position, while not directly involved in filling the oxygen or delivering it, is kind of core to making sure that happens and everybody gets home safe. So this kind of had to go secondary. But I figured this was an appropriate time to talk about something that I normally don't bring into the channel, and that is being prepared. One of the things that people come to firearms for is being prepared for disasters, being prepared to defend themselves, just being prepared for life. And many of us were scouts, whether you were Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, whatever level you did, whatever organization you were part of. Scouts historically has been a big part of the community that leads to the concept of being prepared for what life throws at us. Not just be prepared mentally, but do I have food? Do I have preparations in case the power goes out, if the water goes out, if there's a disaster of some sort? And these are things that the government tells us we should be prepared for, even if you're not a scout, even if you basically are a drone who does whatever the government says, to be not so nice about it. Even the government says, be prepared for these things. Here is a basic plan. Do this. And people don't. And I thought I would share some elements of this that are relevant today, relevant tomorrow, relevant for a winter storm, relevant for losing your job, a loved one being sick, anything. Now, there's actually some scientific work and some philosophical work behind prepping. And my notes are actually getting blown away here. I'll just hold them. You guys can deal with the notebook. So Maslow's hierarchy is basically the list of what you need to survive and thrive as a human. And it is a hierarchy. It's you need this, and then you expand that circle to this, and then you expand it again. And it's not discussing you need bread and you need water and you need, well, it does say water. It is conceptual. And at the core, you need the necessities of life: food, water, shelter from the elements, which, depending on your environment, could literally just be clothes. It could be some palm fronds if you're living somewhere tropic and the sun is not burning your skin. It is literally, what do you need as a human animal, which we are animals, a human animal to survive in your environment? You need to be able to eat, and you need to be able to eat enough of the right things to feed your body and function properly. You can't just eat junk food. You can't live on broccoli alone. Like, you have to have the right blend. You need water, shelter, and basically enough physical fitness or protection that you are not being immediately dead from day-to-day life. Now, after you establish that, you are able to survive world, meaning just you can exist and not just drop dead of your own accord. Now you have to survive other things. Physical safety is the next layer. It's the one that comes after you are able to feed and eat. Sorry, eat, drink, and at least survive Mother Nature. The basics of Mother Nature. So physical safety is: am I going to get killed by a bear? Am I going to get killed by another person? Am I going to fall out of my tree? If we're going primeval here. Am I going to fall off my deck here? I'm standing on my deck. Can I survive that weather back there, you know, flash floods. Because shelter only goes so far in the description of it. What what do you need to survive and feel safe? It almost comes down to feeling. What makes you feel that you are physically safe? Now, this is not an emotional safe where you're comforted and not feeling vulnerable, but literally, hey, I can store some food and not have it stolen. I can have belongings that are not being immediately destroyed. Um, it is I'm not going to be raped or murdered at random as an immediate, constant, thing. It's not that it doesn't ever happen, but that you don't need to worry about that as a this will happen situation. And that's layer two, and that is those two are really the key parts of the hierarchy for survival. To thrive, it goes further. To thrive, you need to feel like you're part of a community. This can be small, this can be family, this can be friends, this can be a spouse, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. You have to have some sort of emotional interaction and belonging to a something bigger than yourself, something more. And this gets debated, but I mean, I'm a pretty antisocial person, but I still think it's there. I think that humans are by nature social animals, and to really thrive, everybody needs some of it. Um, yes, there are exceptions. There are people who do hermits. They literally make a point of it, but they're the exception, not the rule. And overall, we need some of that. You don't necessarily need a ton of it. For example, I'm perfectly happy spending most of my time on my own. I still know that I have people who care about me. I still have people I care about. I still have friends that I interact with. Uh, when you let go of that, you tend to be less of a person. You tend to start getting emotionally drained. You feel less motivated to do things. You feel boredom tends to set in, honestly. It just mentally and emotionally, you are less than you could be. So the next one is where it really starts to get wishy washy for me, because I don't think this fits in the hierarchy of needs so much as what comes out of them. But we'll throw it in there because really I think that that one that we just covered, community, group, belonging, and this next one are things that people are forgetting about right now. And that is basically self esteem. Who are you? Who do you value yourself? Do you believe that you are a worthwhile person and that this has value? And to me, part of that is taking care of yourself. Beyond the immediate need for survival, it is things like making sure you get enough sleep, which is actually in the first category. Do you get enough sleep? Are you treating yourself right? Do you do things to de-stress? Do you go out and take a walk? Do you FaceTime with a loved one who is not there, and chat just to feed your brain, to feed your emotional needs beyond what you absolutely need? Do you do it because that is something you need? For me, I go fishing. I mean, right now it's the weather has finally improved despite appearances. Uh, I go shooting. I do things that I can do on my own. I don't need to interact with other people particularly. I don't need to stop at the grocery store on the way. I don't need to stop at a gas station all the time. Like, I can go bank fishing. I can go to the range. I can do reloading work. I can do a lot of things that I get enjoyment out of. I don't have to do them. Uh, I'm not fishing to feed myself. I am not a hunter, so I'm not, going to the range to prepare to go hunting. Um, Big bee just flew by me. I got another one on the other side of the camera hanging out. It's too cold for them, so they're kind of hiding. And it's taking care of yourself as a individual, not as an animal. And I think that people are stressing over COVID to the extent that they are not taking care of themselves as individuals. They are saying, well, I can't do what I normally do, and this is horrible. Rather than going, well, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And pick a new topic and learn it. Um, I have friends who are extreme extroverts, unlike me, and they are literally having a very hard time because they can't go out and socialize. They're struggling. And to them, I want to say, pick a hobby that you have. Pick something you do that you're good at and share it. Put out videos on YouTube. Put out a post on Facebook and say, hey, who wants to do a Zoom of how to knit something? A friend of mine that is the extreme extrovert, is very good at knitting and crochet work, and she would probably enjoy that a lot. Instead, she's going nuts on Facebook, and generally just struggling. I really, people need to find what they can do to embrace themselves. What can you do to be best you? Which leads to the last category that Maslow has in his hierarchy, which is self-actualization or self-fulfillment. This is literally how to be a better you. When you've satisfied all those other needs, you are all the way through to I am safe, comfortable, well-fed. I'm not going to wilt like a flower, because the sun went down. Like, you are all you. Well, how do you make that better now? How do you make a better you? And basically what he's saying is that you need to do that. In order to be a full human who has satisfied all of this, that's the last step, is to, if you've covered everything else, this is next. And I agree. I just don't know that those really have anything to do with survival. I think that a lot of people don't do that, and clearly they survive. So that's me rambling about something that is a basic principle of survival and prepping, and hopefully that's helpful. We're going to do a couple more videos. I'm literally going to turn off the camera and start it up again and do a couple more on other prepping related and survival in this kind of environment thing, because right now we're not surviving Armageddon in the sense of like the end of the world as we know it apocalypse, but the end of the world as we know it socially, where you can't do what you normally do. You have to deal with shortages that may be artificial. They're temporary, but they're still real in the sense that you go to the store and you can't buy it, or you don't want to go to the store because you don't want to expose yourself if you don't have to. So that's the next video, and stick with us. I will be getting more videos out. We will get back to our regular content. Take care, have fun, stay safe, y'all, and try not to go crazy at home. Say hi. Oof. Oof.